Hello, welcome to Emotional Badass, where Moxie meets mindful. I'm your host, Nikki Eisenhower, life coach and psychotherapist. And on today's episode, I'm discussing owning our energy. Hello, y'all. I want to read to you from my favorite book, The Language of Letting Go by Melody Beattie. But first, I want to ask you to ask yourself if this is the year that you come and study boundaries with me. I know that you know if you want to work with me. I teach the Boundaries course live every year. It's coming this October. And I love to teach it because it is absolutely foundational to shifting from the burden of high sensitivity to the beauty of our high sensitivity. Nobody is coming to save us from the stress of this life, y'all. Boundaries are what does that for us. The holidays are coming, politics are coming, and politics are coming hard and fast at us. We blink and another season, another year goes by. Please do not wait for time and space to open up in your life to have some sort of self-development excursion. Our life is happening now. It's kind of like when somebody wants to and needs to quit smoking cigarettes. There's never a good time because life continues to happen. I want anyone that's interested in my Boundaries course to understand how I want you to show up, because I made it for you to show up exactly as you are. You might be far along in your journey. You might be brand new in your journey. You get to show up raw, real. If you're grieving, that's okay. That's a great time to work on boundaries. If you're overwhelmed, angry, whatever, you get to show up as you are. Because the Boundaries course will show you how to get out of your own way and create boundaries that really work for you in your life. I don't want you studying and stressing out about taking a course. I want you as a student of the Boundaries course this October showing up with deep breath, deep exhale energy. This is not a college class you must master and get an A in. This isn't a bunch of heady knowledge. This is an experience. I want you to show up with a cup of tea, a hot chocolate. I want you to be able to take in what I'm offering and what I'm teaching in that course like you're kicking back and watching Netflix. It's just that you can comment and participate. I want you entertained when I teach so that you learn and retain what I'm offering. That's the best way that we learn, when we're having fun. If your life has been heavy, I offer the lightest way I know to learn how to functionally take care of yourself through boundaries work. Those of you coming back for a second year or a third year or even a fourth year, I see y'all signing up. I love seeing it. It makes me so excited because it's the best thing in the world to see how you've grown year to year, to watch you share your growth with first-time participants and realize how far you've come since the first time you marinated in the information that I offer. It almost winds up feeling like a little boundaries reunion each year. This year's going to be year 8. Our inner children love that. It's okay for you to show up, to lay in bed, to have your PJs on with that cup of tea. You get to go on a walk or be in the gym listening. Just find a way to spend time with the material, with what I've made for you as a step 1. That's all that's required. We're so good at overcomplicating, at getting in our own way, at wanting some kind of ideal opening to open up before we jump into a thing. Just jump in, y'all. We have a lifetime to work on boundaries, and I hope to meet you this year if your intuition is saying to come and join. For more information, to sign up, to choose a payment plan, or to learn more, come to emotionalbadass.com/boundaries. Get the early bird discount by using code earlybird23 when you pay in full. making this year's course $350. I'm reading to you from my favorite book, The Language of Letting Go by Melody Beattie. She is in some ways the queen of codependency. She coined the term in the 80s, and she has grown and evolved and morphed the term. Today's reading is August 29th, Owning Our Energy. Learn to keep your energy inside. A quote by Charlotte Davis Castle, PhD. Melody says, "For many reasons, we may have mastered the art of giving away our energy. We may have learned it when we were young because the feelings we had were too overwhelming to feel, and we did not know how to process them. Much of our obsessing, our intense focus on others, is done to facilitate this out-of-body experience we call codependency. We obsess, we babble, we become anxious. We try to control, caretake, and fuss over others. Our energy spills out of us onto whomever. Our energy is our energy. Our feelings, thoughts, issues, love, sexuality, our mental, physical, spiritual, sexual, creative, and emotional energy is ours. We can learn to have healthy boundaries, healthy parameters around ourselves and our energy. We can learn to keep our energy within ourselves and deal with our issues. If we are trying to escape from our body, if our energy is spilling out of us in unhealthy ways, we can ask ourselves, what is going on? What is hurting us? What are we avoiding? What we need to face, what we need to deal with. Then we can do that. We can come back home to live in ourselves. Today, I will keep my energy in my body. I will stay focused and within my boundaries. God or the universe, help me let go of my need to escape myself. Help me face my issues so I am comfortable living in my body." I'm going to reread that start to finish at the end of the show. I want to break it down a little bit like I do on the Patreon and our live streams. This first line that Melody gives us: "For many reasons, we may have mastered the art of giving away our energy." That statement really hits me in some sadness. What a sad statement, because it has so much truth. I've often joked, if you've been a longtime listener of the show, that I have accidental PhDs in things I never wanted to, like master manipulation, like recovering from childhood sexual abuse, things I never, ever wanted to learn about. I mean, who would? And here's another. For many reasons, we may have mastered the art of giving away our energy. We may have learned it when we were young because the feelings we had were too overwhelming to feel and we did not know how to process them. I know in my life, I mastered the art of giving away my energy because when I lit up for other people, when I was funny, when I was smart and witty and I could distract people and make them laugh, they weren't screaming, they weren't fighting, they weren't frightening me. I mastered the art of giving away my energy because my biological father abandoned me. I mastered the art of giving away my energy because little me believed in her very best available thinking that if I gave away enough energy, I could ensure that people would stay and I would never feel the hurt of abandonment again. So I mastered the art of giving away my energy. I thought if I could be a good girl enough and please people, I'd hurt less in this life. Do you know how and why you've mastered the art of giving away your energy? Where do you give it? Why do you give it? And why so much? No wonder we're tired. Exhaustion and overwhelm are some of the top complaints from highly sensitive people. and from survivors of difficult childhoods. If we've mastered the art of giving away our energy, what are we tasked with? I don't want that art form. I want a different kind of art. The art of giving away my energy makes me tired. It makes me sad. It makes my inner child look up at me and wonder, why is grown-up me doing that? Because it feels terrible. In my younger years, I gave a lot of energy to resenting how good I was at giving away my own energy, and angry at people who would ask because I didn't know how to say no. It was easier to get angry at them for asking, or angry at the takers for taking, even though essentially with my own energy, I did the thing that the lazy Halloween candy people do. They just put a bowl out and then turn the light off when the bowl's empty. For all the kids to take handfuls and handfuls of candy, more than their fair share because it's there for the taking. This is what we do when we've accidentally mastered the art of giving away our energy. Melody goes on to say much of our obsessing, our intense focus on others, is done to facilitate this out-of-body experience we call codependency. That's fascinating, isn't it? I bet you, like me, have not very often seen codependency called an out-of-body experience. But that's exactly what we do in codependency. We're not dealing with ourselves. From that art of giving our energy away, we continue the art of giving our energy away. It's a way to run away from ourselves, to be out of our own body, out of our own experience, into someone else's experience. No wonder we're resentful. No wonder we're angry. No wonder we find ourselves in low vibe judgment that we're embarrassed about. Our highest self doesn't like our judgment, our anger, the nastiness that bottles up inside of us simply because we don't know how to say no, no thank you, not today, not this time. Our energy is our energy. Melody says we can learn to have healthy boundaries, healthy parameters around ourselves and our energy. To listen to much that is popular in our world today around feelings and mental health and that strange crossover we found ourselves in with politics as an added layer. We're not being told that our energy is our energy, that we can learn to have healthy boundaries. We are being taught that other people should not make us uncomfortable. We are taught that we get to melt down if we feel offended. If we are angry, we get to lash out, that we even should lash out. No wonder the population is so mentally unhealthy, fried, frazzled, raw, lonely. What would it be like to really learn how to keep our energy within ourselves and deal with our own issues? It would be less dramatic. Have you heard any of my episodes where I theorize that most of the population, because of social media, may be addicted to drama? Are you? If we are trying to escape from our body, if our energy is spilling out of us in unhealthy ways, Melody Beattie says, we can ask ourselves what is going on, what is hurting us, what are we avoiding? It's easier to distract ourselves with what's wrong with the world. It's easier to distract ourselves with drama on TV and movies, in our social circles, our coworkers, our employers, our employees. But is it easier in the end? Melody Beattie says we can come back home to live in ourselves from the learning of boundaries. Her affirmation is an invitation. She says, today I will keep my energy in my body. And I know that some of you out there hearing that might respond to that line. I will keep my energy in my body, and might look at me in frustration, in exasperation, in exhaustion, and say, I'd love to keep my energy in my body. I don't know how. Sometimes what's most important is not knowing how we're going to do something, but just knowing that it is possible. Whatever you don't know how to do right now, in terms of grounding yourself, saying no, honoring a personal limit, not being a people pleaser, and learning who you are on the other side of your energy belonging to you. It's okay not to know. It's just not okay to tell yourself that you can't know or you can't learn. Each day offers us such opportunity. This invitation from the author is, I will keep my energy in my body. I will stay focused and within my boundaries. God or the universe, a greater power to our own understanding, help me let go of my need to escape myself. Help me face my issues so I am comfortable living in my body. I say a lot that childhood trauma takes away our birthright of safety, of security. That's what makes it trauma. That's what is tragic, is that it takes away not just our peace or our trust in the world or in others. It takes away our actual comfort living in our own body. That is part of why I do this show. That cannot stand. That is not okay. And I say no to it. Whatever happened to us in the trauma department was not our fault. But it is 100% our responsibility to take responsibility for it and to live. The child that I was deserves that birthright. It's why I'm passionate about the inner child, about understanding that that's not a bunch of psychobabble hooey. We hold on to these different parts of ourselves psychologically that didn't get what he or she needed. We get a little stunted, we get a little stuck. It's why in any present moment, someone with a trauma history may respond with a fervor and intensity or a fright, an intensity that doesn't quite fit purely what's happening in this present moment. It's a culmination of the past playing into this present moment. Boundaries help us feel contained instead of all over the place. They help us feel safe and secure. They are our best bet to return us to our birthright, to reestablish, to reinvigorate what we were all born knowing how to do. Peace. Healthy yeses, healthy nos. You think it's just a coincidence that little toddlers make no one of their first favorite words? I'll read the reading one more time to end the show. Owning our energy. Learn to keep your energy inside. A quote by Charlotte Davis Castle, PhD. Melody Beattie says, for many reasons, we may have mastered the art of giving away our energy. We may have learned it when we were young because the feelings we had were too overwhelming to feel, and we did not know how to process them. Much of our obsessing, our intense focus on others, is done to facilitate this out-of-body experience we call codependency. We obsess, we babble, we become anxious. We try to control, caretake, and fuss over others. Our energy spills out of us onto whomever. Our energy is our energy. Our feelings, thoughts, issues, love, sexuality, our mental, physical, spiritual, sexual, creative, and emotional energy is ours. We can learn to have healthy boundaries, healthy parameters around ourselves and our energy. We can learn to keep our energy within ourselves and deal with our issues. If we are trying to escape from our body, if our energy is spilling out of us in unhealthy ways, we can ask ourselves, what is going on? What is hurting us? What are we avoiding? What do we need to face? And what do we need to deal with? Then we can do just that. we can come back home to live in ourselves. Join me, if you will, in this invitation. Today, I will keep my energy in my body. I will stay focused and within my boundaries. God, the universe, help me let go of my need to escape myself. Help me face my issues so I am comfortable living in my body. I am an emotional badass. You are an emotional badass. And together, we are where Moxie meets mindful. I'll see you right here for another new episode. Till then, take care. Light and love.